This is my review of Infinity Train. Okay, so if you don't know, Infinity Train was this little 10-part miniseries that aired on Cartoon Network last week, and I figured I would just do the whole thing at once and make one review of it instead of making several smaller reviews throughout the week, because I didn't feel like those would be, I don't know, I felt like those would be weird to do and also be weird to edit and upload and all that, and I wasn't entirely sure people would like them. So anyway, the thing about Infinity Train is that it's this interesting yet weird concept about a girl who winds up on a, I guess, magic train and is forced to cope with her feelings and emotions. So, for long and short of it, it's an interesting little story. So, what happens is, the main character, Tulip, is established very early on to live in a house where both her parents are no longer living together. And she's very upset at the fact that they broke up and are no longer together. But the thing is, it's established really early on as well that she's a video game programmer. She writes code and is trying to make computer games that people will want to play. But it kind of falls apart on her because both of those wind up combining into one really messy outcome. So it turns out her dad was supposed to take her to the camp, but then she didn't wind up going because he didn't wind up being able to take her, and her mom isn't able to take her either. So she gets mad at both of them because she's like, well, you guys only have one kid. You can sort out your schedule or something like that. But that's not really how it works. At which point I'm assuming she tries to go to Oshkosh on her own, because that's where the camp takes place. I didn't mention that, but she tries to go to Oshkosh on her own and winds up passing in front of a train that sucks her inside, kind of like the vacuum or something like that, like a portal, I guess. But she winds up getting sucked inside and winds up in a snowy field, and she starts thinking, is this like a snowy train? Did I imagine this? And then it's at this point where she runs into a little spherical robot called 1-1, who becomes her major side character / companion for the rest of the series. So the thing about 1-1 is that he has two split personalities. One side of his personality is always constantly happy. He's always upbeat, always cheerful, always encouraging. And then on the flip side, he has a different personality, which is depressed all the time and really doesn't see the bright side of any situation and always tells, no matter what, that they're hopeless. And the two are combined into one spherical major unit, but it is shown several times throughout the show that they can split it in half and move independently from one another. Although I'm not entirely sure if that's for a prolonged period of time or just like every once in a while. Who knows? But Tulip meets them and is confused as to what 1-1 actually is, thinking he's like some sort of robot or something, but not entirely able to immediately place it. And it's established that 1-1 is looking for his mom, and his mom it's complicated. There's a complicated answer to that, but it'll be explained later. But she finds out that he's looking for his mom. And she goes to open the door to the train and finds out that it is the train, and then finds out that she has a number on her hand, and this number counts down. I'm slight spoilers, but this number counts down every time she makes progress towards dealing with her own emotions. But at the beginning, 1-1 isn't entirely sure because he doesn't really know what it is, sort of. But but he comes up with a theory that if it counts down, she'll die, which I've just said isn't what's going to happen. But she realizes that she needs to get off the train and try to go home. But the problem is that the train is in the middle of some mystical desert that doesn't really exist in the real world at all. So, but she quickly finds out that the desert is completely inhospitable because several small creatures called goms, I think that's what their name is, goms. Okay, so the best way I can describe the goms is that they are undead dog cockroach hybrid creature things. They're like these really terrifying cockroach dog things, and they eat human souls, and that's a problem. So they almost drain Tulip of her life energy, and then One comes to her aid and helps her get away from it, and they move on to the next car since it can't open doors, and they realize they need to get off the train. At which point they run into another major character, the cat, who will show up at various points throughout the story because she's important. But the cat kind of starts off their rap sheet by kidnapping One Beef by tricking Tulip into giving him to the cat. I'm not very good at speaking, but she agrees, then realizes she made a mistake and tries to get One back, but the cat is long gone and is unwilling to part with One. So she has to go after them and uses one of the inhabitants from the car she was in to help out, and One is able to be reunited with Tulip, and they go on their way. At which point they meet another potential ally in Atticus, the king of the corgis, who lives in the one car that's designed to be a safe haven for corgis. Because the thing about the Infinity Train is that it has various different train cars, each with their own special environment, and it's interesting. And it's just interesting to see all the different environments and how each car is different from one another, and by an extensive margin, might I add. So Atticus reveals that they've been having problems with a monster that's been living up in the hills and has been causing a whole bunch of problems because it's been causing the river to flood, which is causing several of their lower structures to flood as well. So Tulip goes to deal with it, at which point we meet the steward, who is the secondary antagonist of the series. It is essentially this giant robotic spider thing with weapons all contained in her faceplate, and and she is crazy fast and crazy powerful because of her offensive and maneuverability. So she's very hard to take care of, and it's revealed that she's been dismantling the car piece by piece, and is kind of after Tulip a little bit because Tulip isn't supposed to be in the corgi car. She's supposed to be in the snow car from when the series first started. So the steward immediately goes after her, but after seeing One leaves, and to this day it's still as of now it's still unknown why she leaves as soon as she sees One. I have a theory, but I'm not entirely sure if it's 100%. But after realizing that the steward is the cause of his people's plight, Atticus decides to join up with the group and go on with them. At which point it goes several episodes of the three of them going from car to car trying to help Tulip lower her number so that she can finally confront her feelings. And at which point they eventually wind up in the cat's personal car, and the cat kind of tricks Tulip into watching a tape that is specifically designed by the train to trap her, but it's kind of complicated. So Tulip almost gets trapped, but then she starts realizing that the memories in the tape are different, because the way the tape works is that it's supposed to show people their memories, but then they get trapped because the memories are so happy and they can't get out. But then it's established that Tulip realizes that her memories aren't correct, and realizes that the real ones aren't as cheerful as she wants them to be. So then she comes to the realization that she's been changing her own memories to reflect her happy state. So at which point she yells at the cat. She yells at the cat for tricking her, and they leave, unaware that the cat is about to be threatened and engaged by the steward and another secret character who will come up later. So they continue onward on their way through the trains, and eventually things come to a head in the final eighth episode. But the thing about this episode is that it doesn't start out with this high impact stakes that you would think it would have. So it starts out with them going into a ball pit area, and they help out one of the inhabitants there. But then the steward shows up, and they have to sneak out of the ball pit area and get to the door, which doesn't exactly work out well because the steward immediately catches them. And then they are approached by the conductor of the train, who is kind of upset at the fact that Tulip has just kind of been making her way through train car after train car on their way toward the conductor, and is upset because the conductor believes that Tulip is going to mess up their plan, and then to drive home insult to injury, when Atticus tries to fight back, the conductor immediately kills him, and he's turned into a gom, which Tulip is then forced to trap in a giant container. So it's very, very dark at this point, but then at the end it's revealed that the cat had somehow survived because the cat was there because of the relationship that she has with the conductor. Then the cat got trapped under some rubble because the conductor betrayed her. And yeah, I probably could have worded that a lot better and probably could have worked that out a little bit better, but whatever. Anyway, she helps out Tulip, and Tulip is able to realize that the conductor is actually a woman in a suit named Amelia, and realizes that the conductor is probably just scared like she is. And after her number finally goes down to 0 after the past 9 episodes of this, she's finally able to summon her door to get out of the Infinity Train. But she decides not to and takes the car with her, using some of the severed limbs that the steward left behind when Atticus went on the offensive, and takes the entire car, using the cat's levitation pod, which she has for whatever reason. It's never really explained why she has it. It just does exist. But they hook the tentacle up to the thing. They confront the conductor about her feelings and realize that she's been trying to make a car of her own so that she can live her happiest memory. And that's both really sad and kind of interesting because it's shown that the conductor is ruthless and is no longer able to be reasoned with at this point. So but she does eventually get redeemed by the end of the episode. But it's established that up to that point, she was ruthless. She was sinking into her own despair and anger, and has been strapped on the train for years, literal years, decades even, and has been unable to get off because of how bitter she is. And during all of this, they're able to turn Atticus back, and it's revealed that 1-1 is the true conductor of the train and was separated from the console, which is why the new conductor, Amelia, has been controlling it for the entire time. And then after a tearful goodbye between the main cast, the Infinity Train summons another portal due to 1-1's influence, and Tulip's able to get home. I did not word this very well at all, but who cares? But the show is interesting. I'm not very good at the speaking, but the show is interesting in that it's kind of about confronting your negative feelings head on and trying to become a better person overall, instead of just letting your anger consume you and devolving deeper and deeper into hatred to the point where you're willing to basically just ignore any type of interaction with people and will just kill anybody on the spot. I mean, it's kind of an extreme in this show, but it is a good message overall. And it is an interesting concept that I would like to see continued, and we're going to get that because apparently there's a second season coming out that nobody really knew about and is now coming out because reasons, but hey, who knows? Maybe the second season of Infinity Train will be good. I'll review it when it comes out, but it is an interesting little concept for a show, and I do hope they continue to improve the show going forward because yeah, it is a 10-part miniseries, but apparently it's getting a season 2. So that would be interesting because it might be the first season 2 we've gotten to a miniseries ever. So it's going to be interesting to see how Cartoon Network pulls this off. But anyway, yeah, those are my thoughts on Infinity Train. It's an interesting show. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys will consider checking it out. This review didn't really do it justice. I've said multiple times that it's not the best review in the world, but it's my review and I'm proud of it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also check out my Patreon description below as well if you want to help support the channel. It's only a couple bucks a month and it really helps me out, so I would definitely appreciate it if you did that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!